Hey everybody, I'm Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at the expansion to Dead Men Tell No Tales. This is called the Kraken. In the original game, the players were cooperating in order to loot a burning ship that, as it turns out, was also haunted. And you had to fight off skeletons, all sorts of creatures, steal the loot, make your way out of the burning ship while you were exploring the ship, and get a certain number of loot off before you lost the game. Now you are still doing all of those things, but you have to contend with the Kraken as well, a monstrous creature that is going to pop up at the beginning of the second round, and you are going to have to fight it off. You are going to have to finish off the Kraken as well as loot the ship in order to win, and deal with it attacking the ship, throwing its tentacles through the hull. And, you could lose if that happens too much. It just brings the whole ship under the ocean and you're done. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. I'll not be teaching you the original game, though I do have a review for that. So let's dive into this, no pun intended. And on the other side, I'll tell you what I think of it. First, let me walk you through all of the new content you are going to get in the expansion. The first thing is the namesake of the expansion, the Kraken right here, a fantastic miniature of the Kraken just peeking its head out of the ocean there. And you are going to get the tentacles over here, as well as these tentacle ends. And these are going to crop up on the ship as the Kraken attacks the players. You are going to get the Kraken board down here, which is going to track the health and damage, how much the Kraken will hit you for, with these two included markers there. You are going to get the new character, this one here, Swivel Gun Sandy, which is, let me see, where is that character? This one right here. And you are going to get also an updated card for Black Gus there with a different power. And then you are going to have, of course, the miniature there. And the other ones all come from the Dead Men Tell No Tales miniature set there, which I have to say, I'm not going to keep referencing this here, but I am going to be using the minis. But it is fantastic. If you did not pick yourself up a copy of this and you're a fan of the base game, you've got to get this. They just look insanely cool. They're very well done. So there you go. That is the miniatures pack for the game. So besides the new character and all of the tentacles, all of that, you are going to get some new deckhands, and you are going to get a bag in which to keep them. Some of these deckhands are deckhand leaders, and they are going to have a new effect, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You are going to get some cannons. You are going to get this cannon die, which is going to help you attack the Kraken itself. You get 11 of these adrenaline tokens with cool powers that you can gather when you attack the Kraken. You are going to get some new trapdoor tokens, these here, that have on one side the regular symbol and on the other side a closed trapdoor to slow down the deckhands showing up. 5 new action tokens and some exploded barrel tokens, which are simply a way to remember when a barrel has exploded. These don't have any new in-game use. You just put them, when a barrel explodes, you cover that up to remind you, hey, that already happened. Don't explode that barrel again. You are going to get some new cards. You have a new item over here, this battle axe. This axe is going to help you chop down some tentacles, and you are going to get the new Kraken cards. 4 of these, which are going to move the Kraken along, as well as denote when the Kraken attacks the ship. All right? So that is largely it. Some player aids and things like that. Let's go ahead and move the game forward so I can show you how some of these things work during gameplay. When you're playing with the expansion mixed in, each character is going to get 6 action tokens instead of 5, and you are going to have a few new actions you can do. They are all listed here on the player aid, and the back has a reference as to how you deal with the new combat found in the game. But the new actions are as follows. You can, for one action, you can load a cannon in the column you are in, and you put it just over here at the beginning. I call that the front of the ship. The concept of columns is introduced in the expansion as well. It's a very simple idea. Every one of these lines extending from the front of the ship counts as its own column, and that's going to come into play with the tentacles spawning in specific columns when the Kraken attacks, as well as the way the Kraken moves from the last discovered tile of each column, cyclically across the ship, finding new plays, new ways to mess with you, and new locations from which to attack, new places in which you have to go to attack against it. So, load a cannon, that's the first thing. You can close a trapdoor. If you are somewhere with a trapdoor, you can close that trapdoor for one action, and the next time that either deckhands would spill from this room or spawn a new deckhand in that very room, you instead simply open this hatch again, but no new deckhands show up. So you're gonna help. It's gonna help you slow down the flow of those deckhands into the game. You may have noticed over here a deckhand that is red. That's a new deckhand leader. They are going to come out of the bag because they are all now. You never know what you're going to get from now on. And every time you pull one of them, you immediately pull out another one. You continue doing so, in fact, until you get a white one. They all go to the same place. So now you could have a spillover happen as a surprise that you did not see coming. The other two new actions are both combat-based actions. You can attack the tentacles or you can attack the Kraken. To attack the tentacles, you are going to have to be in a room with them. Walking in there is going to give you a fatigue penalty, by the way. And then you are going to attack that entire line, that entire column. To do so, your combat difficulty is the number of tentacles in that line. So if you explore the depth of the ship this way, those tentacle attacks are going to both A, be stronger, and B, deplete the tentacles more quickly, which is a way you might lose the game. If you would need one of these that don't have it, then that might trigger the game end, and of course you would lose by doing so. But to attack them, you're going to do basically a regular attack, and the difficulty in this case would be 3. If you succeed, you will remove these from the board, and you are going to get one of the new adrenaline tokens. You'll draw 2 and keep one of them. They'll give you all sorts of new benefits. I'll take a quick look at those in a little bit. The other new action is attacking the Kraken itself. That's going to be much more difficult. The strength, as you can see, is monumental over here. Right now, he's sitting at 12. Every time he attacks, that's going to go up. But as we hit the Kraken, or as we loot treasure from the ship, the strength will deplete. You need to hit it a number of times equal to its health to finally eliminate it. And in fact, killing the Kraken is part of the new way in which you win. You no longer just need to loot this burning ship. You now must loot the burning ship and kill the Kraken. If you don't accomplish both of those things, you will lose the game. And so to kill the Kraken, you must be at the back of the ship, meaning one of the tiles here closest to the unrevealed edge of the board, and you are going to attack the Kraken. That the difficulty will be the strength plus how many columns away you are from the Kraken. So if I'm here attacking it, that's 12. Here would be 13, 14, and so on, just because I'm a little bit farther from it. You are going to roll the combat die. You are going to take into account all of your combat bonuses, but the cannons are going to come into play. If you have a cannon prepped and ready in that column, you can discard that cannon and also roll this die. And in fact, after you've done so, if there are cannons left in that line, then you may re-roll the die. If you give up another one, you didn't like that original roll, you can give up another one and re-roll this die. Try to get a high enough total to hit the Kraken, dropping both its strength and its life. The Kraken, as I said, is going to move around from column to column based on these cards, all right? So that's all the new actions. At the end of a turn, you are both going to deal with a new one of these cards, which is going to increase the fire, possibly move the skeletons on the ship, spawn new deckhands, spread the deckhands, cause explosions, things like that. But also you are going to reveal one of these 4 Kraken cards. They are either going to move the creature, and so if it moves twice and it's sitting here, it would move to there, and then cycle back around and move to there, all right? Or one of them, so we've got several moves, 3 moves, and one of them, this one here, will attack with the Kraken. After the attack happens, you reshuffle all 4 cards, put them back face down on the table. The Kraken attack means that it will spawn the tentacles there in the column in front of it, and its strength will go up. Thankfully, you have these new characters to help you in this monumental endeavor, as well as the new item, the axe here. The axe says it adds 2 strength when attacking the Kraken, or slicing tentacles. And the new Black Gus with the new power here says that in any battle, this player may reroll the battle die 1 time. And Sandy over here, the new character, says that they may use a cannon from any column and may reroll the cannon die 1 time for free when attacking the Kraken. Being in a room when the tentacles break through that room, break through the ship and start grasping at the ship is going to hurt you for 2 points of fatigue. But as you take out those tentacles or damage the Kraken, you are going to draw, as I said, these adrenaline tokens. You're going to draw 2, and then you are going to keep 1. You may use it immediately or later on. These are going to give you some new effects. There is a list of them here in the rulebook, but they do the sorts of things as follows. You can draw the top 3 Skeleton's Revenge cards, place them back on the top in the order of your choice. You can ignore fatigue for 1 action. You cannot draw a Skeleton's Revenge card at the end of your turn 1 time. You can take an additional action. You could, with this one, for example, remove any 5 deckhands or deckhand leaders from the board, return them to the bag. There's one that lets you place out 2 cannons anywhere you want to. This one here, the Axe Strike there, gives you +3 strength for attacking the Kraken or chopping tentacles. So, juicy new powers. Once you use them, they are gone from the game, and the other one you did not take gets shuffled back into the pile, and it'll be available to you again, possibly in the future. So again, you draw 2, you use 1, or keep it and use it later on. So that's largely everything that's new. The Kraken is definitely a massive challenge because of its strength and how many times you have to hit it. Though they do give you in the rules ways to adjust that difficulty. You can start it with less life, fewer hits that you need to assign to it, as well as manipulating the strength. You could start with the Kraken being weaker or stronger if you seem to find the game too easy or too challenging. So there you go. That's everything new that you are going to get in the game. Lots of new concepts, lots of new challenges and ideas in play. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, so there it is. That is the Kraken expansion, as well as, I guess, a quick look at the miniature set for the game. Again, really fantastic stuff. So, what do I think of it? Well, before I get into this, let me remind you what I thought of the original game. I found it to be a really compelling, thematic, engaging cooperative game that did what I like in co-op games. My favorite co-op games are thematically robust, but mechanically sound through and through, to the point that they are not really simulations. They're fairly mechanical, that you then have to apply your imagination to. Things like Pandemic, things like Ghost Stories. I think Dead Men Tell No Tales falls into that category. And the Kraken expansion here is really fun, really interesting stuff. So again, I really love the base game. In this one, there's only one thing I would say gets a little bit of a ding for me, okay? And that is the length of the game does seem to be affected, which makes sense. There is simply more to do to win. Now, if you lose, and that's very likely as well, the game will not be necessarily longer than it was before, but to win, there are simply now more objectives to accomplish, so it will be a little bit longer. The game was already a fairly robust, a game that I wouldn't say was long, but it wasn't a filler by any means, and it was, the box said, or says, 60 to 75 minutes or so. I want to say it's a little bit longer than that. You're looking at about an hour and a half, at least. So, the other things I think are all fantastic. Start off with theme. Kraken. I mean, that's all I gotta say. The theme here is amazing. I love the concept. I like the fact that you are now not just dealing with the monsters on the ship, but the monster right outside the ship, all around the ship, apparently. So that's really cool. The aesthetics and the new components here, the look of everything is spectacular. I love the new minis. I like the new cards, the new characters, all of it just really works well together. New deckhands, that's cool too. There's a lot going on, and it all looks good, works well together. If I had a minor complaint, it is that the cannons are a little on the small side, and they are a little hard to spot at the edge of the ship where you are supposed to put them. I end up actually laying them down even when I'm not showing them to you on the video, just to make them pop a little bit more, make them a little more visible, you know. So that's really my only minor issue there with the aesthetics and the components. The ease of play seems to be on par with the original game. Again, it finds a real good balance between doing things mechanically, this whole idea of columns and so forth, which has no real thematic implications, and coupling that with cool cinematic moments. So, and making it pretty easy to understand. You know, you want to chop down the tentacles. How strong are they? As many as there are. You know, things like that. The Kraken attacks, it gets stronger. I also really like the idea that the Kraken gets weaker as you are looting the ship and removing gold from it, because, as they explain in the rulebook, the Kraken only shows up because there is loot there. So it's drawn to avarice, I guess. And as you are removing things from the ship, it gets weaker and weaker. I think mechanically it's really cool. And then lastly, strategy. There's still a lot of luck here. You're still going to be rolling a bunch of dice, but there are so many new things you can do. So many small additions that are going to just simply give you new things to consider. And you have more actions per turn now. Everybody now gets 6 instead of 5. The character that originally got 6 now gets 7. So if you're playing with that character, you've got 7 actions on your turn. And I like that. I like the trap doors quite a bit. That's a cool way to slow down what's going on. You know, it all works together really well in an interesting package. So overall, I'm a big fan of the expansion. I already love the base game. I think folks out there who have played that a lot and are looking for something different, maybe a little more complication, a little more going on, the Kraken is exactly what you need. Really a fantastic expansion. So this one's going to get a seal of excellence from me. Definitely recommend it strongly. If you haven't played the original game, check that out. And I would say play that first, enjoy that for a while, and when you're ready for something new, get yourself a copy of the Kraken. So there you go again, seal of excellence from me. I'm Z Garcia. Thanks for checking this out. See you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.